Hey everyone, it's Anjali from Beautiful Quilting Studio, and this morning I wanted to take the opportunity to show you how to work with extended width designs in Qmatic. So in my design center over here, you can see I have some extended width, and they look kind of weird, right? Because they're typically over 100 inches long, so they're designed to be, large designs. And you can see here too that these designs have been digitized to be, so I've got like driftwood, right? I've got the driftwood file, and that's the whole repeat. It goes left to right, right to left, left to right, back and forth. And then I have driftwood that just goes left to right because some machines get persnickety when you go right to left. Now, all of these designs came from Long Arm League, from Jess over at Long Arm League. And so these are just kind of the designs I was going to show you today. The newest one is Royal down here, so I'm going to play with that one. Now, I have my quilt set up here. This quilt, this pretend quilt that I'm quilting today, is 40 by 60. And you can see I have my safe area here, my red box, and then my quilt inside. So I'm going to show you a couple different things. So let's bring over, we're just going to use the Royal that goes left to right and right to left. You can see I have the green as my start point, the red is my end point. Now, this design right here, by default, down here you can see, okay, it's 122.25 inches wide and 10.01 inches tall. Okay. Now, if I'm happy with that size, and if I want to check, right now I'm just kind of looking at my quilt overall, right? I can use my 1-to-1 view, and I'm going to click that, and that's going to give me the kind of, like, I tell people, like almost like real life size view, right? So when it's stitched out, that's about the size it's going to be. So I always do that to check to make sure that I like the size of the design. And so for this instance, we're going to say, yes, we like this size, so that's fine. We're going to use our full view icon over here, it looks like an eyeball, and go back to where we can see our whole quilt. So perfect. And then I like to set mine. So for this one, what I might do is I might set it so it starts with the lines at the top. You could set it like this too, or you could, even if you wanted some of those circles at the top, you could, right? But this line is the top of my quilt. And then I'm going to trim off of that. So let's go back to full view. Okay, so if I want to just repeat this design down at this size, I'm going to go use my multiply function, and I'm just going to build this down. Okay. Now at this point, I like to set my spacing. That way, as I build subsequent rows, it will automatically put my spacing where I want it to be. Let's go back. I like that spacing right there. So now we can keep adding rows and build this all the way down. Okay, so I'm just trying to cover off the end of my quilt. I like to have extra just in case, something got measured wrong, whatever. Okay, we're going to green check mark out of that. And now to set this up, we're going to see, I think I can actually fit 2 rows in my safe area. So what I'm going to do, just to make that smaller so you can see, I'm going to unconnect all these rows so it turned blue. So now I can select individual rows, and you can see I can fit 2 rows in my safe area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse that second row, and let's see. So now we have the end point. Oh, we don't want to do that. You're right. Okay. So for these ones, I forgot. We don't do that. So we'll put it back. Okay. So now you can see my start point is here, and that's fine because it's going to go across and it's going to end on this side. But I do want my rows separated. So they're separated now. I'm going to click my first row. I'm going to link it to my second row and see how it connected there. And now those rows are both red. Green check mark. And then I'm ready to trim this down. So let's just do this. So I'm going to just trim off here. So we want, right, and we need to be in our safe area. Now remember, everything black is going to trim away, so I need to invert that. I'm going to trim that off. Let's go back to full view. And then I'm going to trim, let's just say, I can fit all this in my safe area. So I'm going to trim at the edge of the quilt, trim that side, trim my left side, invert, green check mark, go back to full view. And now I'm ready to start stitching this, right? So from here, I can hit play. So this is telling me I have designs queued outside. Yes, I do want to DQ and proceed, and then I can tell it to start at the start point. And now I'm ready for it to stitch this design all the way through. It will stitch those 2 rows and then stop when it gets over here. Okay. So that's how I set up an extended width if I like the default size. I'm just going to hit stop there because I'm going to redo this to show you a different method. So if I want to alter the size at all, so real quick, I'm just going to, let's do a new project. We're not going to save that. Okay. And then let's adjust our quilt size here. We'll put it at the same 40 by 60. Okay. There we go. And then let's bring over Royal again. And so right here we can see the whole design. Now, if I want to resize this, let's say I want it to be a little smaller. Now, with an extended width design, right, you have everything is kind of preset. So you're going to adjust, it's going to adjust together here. But you can adjust it. You just have to keep in mind as you adjust that. So let's see what happened to that, right? Now I go 1-to-1 view. Obviously, it's going to be smaller here. So you can kind of play with it and see how you like it. The other thing you can do when we resize is I can unclick maintain ratio. And then I can adjust, right? I can adjust kind of however I want it to be adjusted here, okay? But I don't want to save that. So let's say I like this size, right? So I'm going to set this up exactly the same way. Just keeping in mind, right, with these extended width designs, unless you're using the left to right, so I'll show you that, right? So on this extended width, I have my start point and my end point on the same side. Now, if I select the left to right design, let's go back and we'll make it a little smaller so we can see it here with the other one. Okay. So now I have, if I look, every row is running left to right. So those dotted lines are basically like our jump, right? So when I stitch this, it's going to stitch this first row of these cute little loops here. And then when it gets to here, it's going to give us the prompt that says tie off, right? Cut your thread, and then it will travel, your machine, your sew head will travel back over here and start at this line and work across. And it will do that every single time to stitch every row left to right, okay? Which is fine. Some, like I said, some machines just kind of get a little persnickety when they go right to left. But same deal here. You can repeat your rows down however much you want to fill your quilt. Just remember that you are going to have to tie off on every row, and the sew head will move back over to the left side to stitch the next row. Okay, so that's how you can kind of set up these extended width designs with Qmatic. I have found in my experience that they're pretty easy to work with if they're digitized well. And these ones, so let's just see, here's a couple other ones. This one's called Fizz. Oh, and I clicked the left to right. Let's get rid of that so you can see. Here's the left to right. So you can see those dotted lines, right? It's going to do our jump stitches. Here's our Fizz, where it's going to do left to right, right to left, back and forth, okay? And then we have Driftwood, which is another cool one. Same deal, right? Start and end on the left side. And Driftwood, that's going to do single rows at a time. So you can just pick and choose which ones you like. Now, what you can do, let's just see. So if I want to leave, we're going to just work with the normal one here. So this is Driftwood. So if I like this, just for show and tell here, I'm going to trim this. Oops, okay. Okay, so now we've got our start and end point inside our safe area here. So let's just see, for experimenting, we're going to bring a row down, but we're going to flip it horizontally. Let's just see. I'm just curious because there we go. Okay. So if you wanted it to go and so it's going to start over here on the right, go until it ends, and stop over here on the right. So I'm not going to be able to connect this. I was just curious to see how this would work. So I wouldn't be able to connect these and have these do consecutive rows, and that's okay. If I want to be able to stitch as many as possible, right? Then I want to set it up like this, where I do start and stop on the same side, because now I can connect these, right? Now I can, I can link these all together, and it will continue to run this whole piece until it's done. It'll start here and it won't stop till it gets to here. Okay. So just some different playing around. Qmatic makes it pretty easy to work with these extended width designs. So just get some fun ones and play with them and try. Like I said, I got these from Jess at Long Arm League. She's got some fun ones to work with. So hope this helps you. Have fun.